a lot of chocolate these days, they take the cacao bean, which is the seed of a fruit, like a cashew. So it's really actually botanically a nut. And they press it and they boil it and they roast it and they run it through rollers and they press all the oils out and they do all kinds of stuff. They add potassium carbonate and sodium carbonate. So let's give people the original real food, certified organic, best quality possible, microbe-free, nutrient-rich, mineral-rich, and let people do what they want with it. Let's connect with the history of food. Cacao is #1 of any major Western food in magnesium. Magnesium is the #1 mineral deficiency. And where is it found? Chocolate. This is one of the reasons why chocolate is a great laxative. It's one of the reasons why women use it for PMS symptoms. It's one of the reasons why it's a great brain food. It's also one of the reasons why it's a great heart food, literally heart, because heart and magnesium go together. In fact, the #1 mineral in our heart is magnesium. Incredible. Then I found out it's #1 in the world of antioxidants of any major fruit/nut. 10 times the antioxidant level of blueberries, 20 times what red wine has, 30 times what green tea has. I mean, it's stunning. Like, who knew? Then I found out that actually cacao contains, in some studies, 0 caffeine. And what's actually present is theobromine, which is a sister molecule to caffeine. And theobromine has been shown to be better than any asthma medication. Theobromine has been shown to be a bronchial dilator. It's been shown to be a circulatory system dilator and was actually used in heart medicine until strong pharmaceutical drugs were created. It has serotonin and tryptophan, some of the highest of any foods. Now, serotonin and tryptophan, that's like our stress defense shield. Cacao is the #1 weight loss food. I mean, people think chocolate, they think weight gain. Actually, chocolate has always been a weight loss food because it's so nutrient dense. You eat 5 or 6 cacao beans and you're feeling good and you can go a couple hours. You eat 5 or 6 more, you go another couple hours. Chocolate is by far the world's greatest food. It is the best food ever. What about chocolate? The raw cacao bean. This is one of my favorite little children in the world right now. And this little food right here, which is the food that all chocolate is made out of. In fact, I can peel it and you can see the chocolate right on the inside. This food, here's the chocolate on the inside, is probably the most chemically complex food in the world. It is definitely the most chemically complex food that's ever been studied in the world. Over 1,200 constituents of flavor alone. The next highest would be like royal jelly with 300 or 400 constituents in it. This is the highest antioxidant food in the world. It blows away red wine and green tea. I mean, they're not even in the same category as cacao. We're talking orders of magnitude greater. This is the food that all those studies about chocolate is pointing at, right? It's not some kind of sugar in there. It's not some kind of dairy product came from some factory farm cow. It's actually this, the nut that all chocolate is made out of. In fact, this is the most widely eaten nut in the world that nobody eats. It's all processed, massively cooked, roasted, toasted, microwaved, heat destroyed, hexane extracted in huge factories. And what we did, our work, has taken that, removed that entire industry and said, sorry, no, we're flushing you down the toilet. Flush that whole thing down the toilet, and now we're going right back to the original food in its raw, natural state, the way that the Native Americans ate it for thousands of years. The antioxidant content, what about the vitamin C content of that food right there? There's nothing that rivals this in vitamin C in the entire seed and nut world, and it's one of the highest vitamin C containing foods of any food in the world. All processed chocolate contains no vitamin C because it's all destroyed by heat. Then we go into the mineral content of cacao. Cacao, the raw chocolate nut, is the highest natural source of magnesium, chromium, and iron. It's extremely high in zinc and copper and manganese. These are some of the most deficient minerals in our world. There is so much magnesium, copper, iron, and chromium in cacao that actually has therapeutic levels, meaning it's like a mineral supplement. There are very few foods in the world that are actually mineral supplements, but cacao is one of them. Now, beyond that, what about the brain chemicals that are in cacao? The bliss chemicals, anandamide. That's a chemical that only exists in human metabolism, except one plant has it, and it's cacao. What does that do? It makes you feel great. It's like an endorphin. You feel like you just did a big workout. Once you cook those phenethylamines, it's a natural kind of amino acid that's in cacao, you destroy most of the different frequencies of the phenethylamines. Now, if you recall, there was a lot of research recently about these phenethylamines being related to falling in love. These are the chemicals of falling in love that are in chocolate. But all cooked chocolate is most of it's gone. It's been evaporated, broken down, chemically changed by heat. But raw cacao has all of it still totally intact. All of the love chemicals are still there. How about cacao? You crush it down with your herbs, you mix it up with a little bit of water, you down it that way, then you got a nice little chocolate drink, or even a hot chocolate. You can just put a little warm tea in there, blend it all down, and drink it, and then you're saving yourself while having the best day ever too.
Here's what I've noticed with cacao. Cacao is so centered as a heart food. I mean, our heart concentrates magnesium 18 times more than our blood. The highest natural source of magnesium in the plant world is cacao. So this whole thing of like cacao and the heart, Yolotl Etztli is what the Aztecs used to say, heart blood. That's what they called cacao, heart blood. Transforms your cardiovascular system. So you actually start feeling more instead of thinking more. You go to New York and it's like, whoa, this is what thinking does. There's a whole thing that happens when you really transform yourself with live foods, that you can actually get into a state of consciousness where you're no longer believing you're alone in the universe. You're no longer lonely because you have plants that you can water. You have dogs and cats that you can pet. There's wild animals that will begin to love you. You'll have a bird land on your head. You start getting into a place where you get more into what we call a shamanic state of consciousness instead of cocoa pebbles. Cacao is a shamanic food. It cannot be understood by the head. You can't analyze it and go into an analytical neurosis about it. In the old days, it was like, I need 3.1415926535897 milligrams of wheatgrass juice at noon, right? That's what they told me to do. That's what the book said. And then at 3 p.m., I need 3.1415926535897 milligrams of seed milk, right? Just sprouted for 8 hours and 3 seconds. That's what they told me. That's what the book said. And then I've got to do this and that. And then I've got to do my enema. I missed it by 5 minutes. I'm late. That's what goes on out there. And then finally, I don't know, the universe must have just said, this has got to stop. This is ugly. And guess what comes in at that point? Cacao. What it does, it blasts a hole right through this whole world that we're all in. It blasts a hole right through the middle of it and says, we need to actually get into feeling and stop thinking immediately. How do you know what's right for you? You have to feel it. How do you know what the best food ever is? You feel it. You can't think about it. You can't analyze it. You can't buy into anybody's theory that you're not supposed to eat X, Y, or Z unless you try it yourself and feel it for yourself. Right? They used to use this as money. This is the money. Here, so quick, give me a little handful of that. This is value. That's money. That was their currency in Mexico City for 5,000 years. How many people knew that? Currency in Mexico City for 5,000 years. That was their money. What does that mean? It means if there's inflation, you eat the money. They can't inflate the economy. They can't control it because in 3 years, this stuff will start going off, and plus the little mice and critters will get into it and eat it unless you use it. So you can't hoard it. This is an energy of prosperity. That's the energy of cacao. When you have cacao around you, you're in an energy of prosperity consciousness. When you don't, you're literally pushing away prosperity.
So sweet, you know you could have been some perfume. Well, you could have been anything.